What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the SB Fantasy Football Podcast, where you know it, folks. We try hard. I'm
We
Alan.
need a new tag. I'm RD. We need a new tagline or something.
Is it no one gives an F?
Yeah, that's going to be our. No one cares. Oh, okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate
Okay.
that.
I really appreciate that.
I responded with thanks for subscribing.
I was like, I like to think at least one person cares. Maybe. I don't know.
And of course, it's our pal Dylan. Coming in. Old Buzz. He came
I
in
wish
hot.
he would have responded on that one, though, on
Yeah.
that video. He did on the other video that I tagged a bunch of picks that nobody cares about. So.
Oh man, how'd you celebrate the football this week? Did you do anything? I mean, did you watch the Thursday night game?
No.
Not live, or whatever. But this Sunday, were you busy all day, or did you get to sit down?
Yeah, I was busy all day. I had a company picnic
Mhm.
that I went to, and then the kiddo had softball practice, and so. But I was home just in time to sit down and watch my Lions play. Get a nice little dub.
The Sunday game,
A
right?
day when we just didn't play our best, we still found a way to get the win. So that was nice.
Yeah, I didn't even realize it went to overtime until they mentioned it, and they said, "Oh yeah, Matt Stafford got all the way to overtime, didn't give him the ball." He didn't. I was like, I thought they changed the rule. I thought they changed it, but
If you score a touchdown on the first drive, they don't get the ball.
that's crazy,
So-
right? Like that's still a thing.
They
Like,
changed it for the playoffs.
mm,
So the playoffs, he'd have a chance, but regular season, you got to stop us. And I
Regular
mean, we
season,
just
they're like,
gave
"We
the
don't
ball to
care."
David Montgomery like 6 times in a row, and I mean, I'm just manhandled them down the line, like just down the field, just made them our RB.
Didn't they have
That's
like
all it was.
half their team on like half their starters are out and stuff like that, like their linemen?
On the offensive side, they had some.
Is that what it
players out.
is? I heard there was somebody talking about it.
Linemen were getting hurt and stuff. They had a couple of guys that were injured going into the game.
Yeah.
And then a couple of guys that got hurt during the game on the offensive side of the ball. Puka Nacua, we'll talk about that for sure, right?
Mhm.
He's going on the IR.
Oh yeah.
Going to be out for a minute. Kind of sucks. Cooper Kupp said, "Hey guys, I'm still good at this thing called football." It's kind of one of the things that I kind of said, going into the season. Everyone's kind of writing Cooper Kupp off, but at the end of the day, that's still Stafford's BFF, and he's going to feed him the ball. And especially once Nacua went down, it was just play after play after play after play.
Yeah, and it's hard. Most defense, most teams can't defend against Cooper and Stafford. They've proved it year after year. And I was high on Nacua, but I don't know about taking him. Like everybody was talking about putting him in the first round. I'm like, Kupp is still there, right? Now, dynasty leagues or whatever, you got to pay what you got to pay to get him because he's going to be right. But he hurt already, man. Game 1 out.
He's hurt going into the season.
Oh
right?
yeah, he's limping a little bit. Or
battling
whatever.
an injury going into it, and then just kind of
you got
over the top.
You got all the injuries, the injury report and stuff like that of all the important fellows that dropped on Saturday or Sunday.
No.
Oh yeah. Anyways, so it was a kind of a wild weekend. It was Thursday night was crazy. I was really excited too because we got who did we have? We had kickoff. We had Thursday night. We had Friday night. We had Sunday. It was wild as hell. But that Brazil game was weird. It was just interesting to say the least. Halftime show, big fan, huge fan. But Saquon, dude, oh my God, I think that guy just lit it up. So anyways, we have the top players from each position. We also have some imperfect and perfect lineups. Alan's going to have the injury report and things like that, and we're going to take a look because the game tomorrow, Thursday Night Football, is the Buffalo Bills at the Miami Dolphins. What is it? Mostert's already ruled out with a chest injury. A-Chain's got an injured ankle. Is it Jalen Wright time? Is it not? I don't know. I mean, it's crazy. Anyway, there's PZ. Let's go ahead and start with the perfect lineup. Here's your perfect lineup according to NFL Fantasy. I don't use NFL Fantasy because their app is absolute trash. It froze. Let me get this off the screen. So all you saw was the app was trash, freezing, not connecting. Everybody lost their mind. And it reminded me of, do you remember when ESPN, like a handful of years ago, ESPN Fantasy, it happened? And this was my first year in there, and I went ape-ass. I was like, this cannot be real. I'm like, it's an hour before game time on Sunday, and I can't set a lineup. I was like, this isn't going to work. I'm not happy. Not happy.
Taking the tinker out of my stinker.
So here's your perfect lineup. Quarterback Josh Allen, 31.18 points. Saquon Barkley, running back, 33.2. Joe Mixon, 26.8. Jalen Reed, 33.1. Cooper Kupp, 32 even. Alan Lazard, a blast from the past, right? 26.9. Isaiah Likely, 26.1. Moody kicked the damn hell out of the ball, 24 points. And the Bears, not only did they win the game for their team because their offense produced nothing, but they fantasy 22 points. They probably won. If you had Moody and the Bears, you might have won. A total of 255.28 points. Look at that. Are you surprised by anybody on this list?
Alan Lazard showing up, but he also did get a garbage time touchdown, right? Mm-hmm. So that kind of adds on to there.
Oh, yeah. I'll put it back up there for you.
Maybe Jalen Reed, maybe not. Little Joe Mixon action. Wasn't quite sure what was going to happen there. But I mean, Josh Allen, yeah. Saquon, yeah. Cooper Kupp, yeah. Isaiah Likely, not that high, right? I expect him to be more of a part of the offense. And I think we'll talk about that here a little bit. Likely and Mark Andrews type thing. Because I'm highly invested in that situation.
Yeah. I think the world came crashing down when Caleb he was not great at all, missing throws.
Averaged like 3 yards a pass. It was
like terrible. It was awful. And the Bears they were relentless. The D, I mean, they were crazy. Will Levis was finally on his knees, had his hands by. He looked like he was about to be executed. He falls to his knees, puts his hands on his head. I go, Jesus, that isn't that bad. But it was.
It was.
It was so bad.
Bring it on down now. Bring it on down.
It was terrible, man. I was like, oh, my God, what the hell is going on? And, of course, I got to see most of those plays because I had the red zone on, and they kept flashing back because it was a fumble six. It was a pick six. It was, I mean, what the hell was going on? I did have the other TVs up, so I got to watch the Houston Texans game because, I wanted to see what Mixon was going to do, and I got Stroud. So I was like, all right, let's see what – they had Diggs out there as well. And it was a fun game to watch. That one was a really fun game. I had a lot of good times watching that one. All right.
Yeah, I was mostly listening to games in the car, listening. Really just got to watch just the Lions game. But it was a good game to watch.
Here is your imperfect lineup. I don't know why it says M. Isn't it N? Imperfect? Imperfect? I don't know. Anyways, Joe Burrow, 8.08 points. Williams, 3.3 points. Mostert, 3.9 points. Harrison Jr., 1.4 points. Chris Olave, 3.1. Drake London, bust of the week right there, man, 3.5. Evan Ingram, my guy, 1.5. Koo got you 4 points in field goals, and then the Jets put up a 2.0. This total lineup got you a total score. I don't know why I said total lineup. This lineup got you a total score of 30.78 freaking points. This is bust central, man. And, we both were high on Drake London.
Still ain't. It's one game.
It's
one game.
week one. It's week freaking one.
Hey, you know who did get in the end zone, though? Kyle Pitts, Yeah.
I saw it, and I was very excited. I go, here we go, finally, right? I was like...
quite aroused.
I watching that game, Cousins looked so I don't know, they were after him. He didn't look comfortable at all. Maybe that injury's on the back of his head. He footsteps, feels everything closing in on him. He just, I got to get rid of it. He just didn't have a great game. I expect more from him, and I'm with you. Just like everybody else, right? Week one.
Yeah.
Let's chill out.
Week one.
If you lost, if you won, okay, good.
Cool.
Get that first win, break the seal. But if you lost, no big deal. I mean, there was so many busts, and all these players. That's why they bust like that. You know what I mean? That's why they're on this imperfect lineup because their expectations are so high. All those players that you saw there, they're supposed to be all studs.
Well, and you also had, I want to say it was like half the quarterbacks in the league threw for 170 or less.
Not a lot of yards.
It's just none of your top receivers performed really. It was just one of those weeks where, and this is where your old school people say this is why you need preseason. This is why you need to play in the preseason to get the rust off. What's up, Busby? How you doing, brother?
What's up, buddy? We were just talking about you.
Kurt Warner was talking about it during the Monday night game because I listened to that one on the radio, and Warner's and he's like, I played in every preseason game, and until I got to the point to where I felt comfortable. And so I'd play in the first game, I'd play some in the second game, play in the third game, and if I felt comfortable, okay, I'd still go out there for a drive. But you had to get comfortable out there players chasing you, coming after you, hitting you. Practice is different than the games. And he goes, and this is why you have these guys that come out week one and struggle because they don't take any snaps in the preseason.
Yeah.
These are the first snaps they've taken since last season.
It's crazy. And I'm with you too. And it's like this week one, it's like, oh yeah, we'll get out there, we're going to knock the rust up. Like, you should have already had the rust knocked off of you, bud. And some of these teams, they can't afford a week one loss. Their divisions are going to be kind of tough, and they need that win. And they just, I mean, so the big boy pick'em league, the guy that won it this week, I think he got them all but like one wrong or something. I think the only one he missed was the Bengals game or something like that. It's my coworker.
Yeah, we're all suckers for buying in on the Bengals again week one. Like, oh, they're playing the Patriots. The Patriots aren't going to be any good. But the Bengals ain't won a week one matchup since 1942.
We talked about that, like even on we were making our picks last week with Old School Wizard, and it was like, yeah, no, the Bengals struggle week one. Burrow didn't really play a whole lot. Jamar Chase held out the entire time, and then he had like food poisoning, or what they claim. And then he's complaining he's not getting the ball. They didn't throw him the damn ball. They threw him 6 times. He caught all 6. But they were like, I don't know what the deal was. I don't know. I'm like, oh, God. All I can see and hear is that it's internal problems. And if that's the issue, I'm like, that's the worst pick I've made all year. Get Jamar Chase. And I love him. I'm going to ride. I'm going to go down with him. I'm going down with the ship, baby. But, God.
Might as well, right?
Yeah.
Teams feel like joint practices before preseason games are enough. And they're not. They're not.
They just get in fights. Half the time they're fighting.
Right.
That's it.
It's like, act right. Come on.
Yeah. You got to, and that is, they have to, week one is, I guess we're so amped up. We're so excited. It is what it is. And it was like, I think the viewership was like up, I think 20 million, 21 million people watched like every game or something like that. They tune in for the NFL. But yeah, the level of play and like, come on, man. Just, I know that you're trying to protect people. You don't want to get them hurt or something like that, but they ain't ready, so they're just going to get hurt week one.
Right.
There's someone out there that's like trying to get after them, and boy, it's tough.
It's a week one, and people are literally trying to kill you. So
yeah.
There's that. And then you got the 49ers are under fire because Mason let slip. After the game, they were like, "Hey, when did you find out you were going to start?" He's like, "Oh, Friday." They're like.
He even tried to backtrack a little bit. He goes, Friday night. I go, no, it's still the same. It's still bad.
Same thing, brother. And then, like, later he was doing a press conference. Someone said, hey, earlier you said that he's like, this is why I don't like the media. Things get taken out. Nothing was taken out of context there, buddy.
They asked you when
you got jumped by your coaching staff and your owners and GM because you done messed up. And, you're like, yeah, no, we're not going to talk about that question anymore. Next question.
Right. And it's like the media, what'd they do? They just asked when you found out, and he was ready, obviously. That was one of the guys I picked up. I was going to do it immediately when I got the alert, but I was busy working on something and I couldn't pick up the phone. I was sitting there screwing around. And then I was like, no one's picked him up yet? I go, I'm going to grab him. I was like, I can't play him, but I'm going to grab him. I grabbed him in the Strikeout Beer League and the Gangster League. And I'm like, all right. So I'm like, maybe he'll be around for a week or two. I mean, if CMC goes down, CMC said he's fine, but now they're still talking about he might not be around.
It's a calf and an Achilles that he's in. What's up, Lizzie? Yeah, Busby, big whoopsie. So who knows how long CMC is going to be out?
Mm-hmm.
And that's, hey, all those carries last year plus the cover of Madden. I mean, it all adds up to. Sorry, buddy.
And for me, he's the pickup of the week. He could be the pickup of the year, depending on how bad this injury goes and if CMC goes down again. He started, went right through the game. They handed him the ball every freaking time. He had a ton of carries. He would have had another touchdown. Debo held somebody, and then they pay him off. They get all the way to the goal line, and they hand it. They do a jet sweep and hand it to Debo. And I'm like, they took a freaking touchdown away from Mason, and then they give. There you go. Here, thanks for holding. Here's a touchdown, Debo. God, that pissed me off because I had I was doing a couple of those. I think it was either a free one or a low entry tournaments. There's 10,000 people in there. Well, I was number 13 or 14, out of all of them, and so I was up there, and that would have put me well into it. Yeah, because I had Moody, and the difference that came down to it was I think I picked Aaron Rodgers, and the other dude picked Purdy. And then towards the end, I think Moody kicked a couple more field goals, and then he got the guy that won it all. Yeah, the guy that won it all.
Him and Chris Boswell both kicked 6.
Crazy. And I was going to do a kicker lineup. I was like, I'm going to do it. It's like, because I'm notorious for that.
I did one.
You put all those in?
Didn't come through. I think like 3 of the 5 picks I had came through on that one. But
yeah.
I'm gonna have kicker lineups every freaking week in Underdog.
Well, the kicker, I'm talking DFS, but yeah, I got you. Yeah, I love the kicker lineups, especially in the heads up. I love doing heads up. It's a lot of fun. The Jets should have pulled all the starters, not just Rodgers. That was a bad look. Yeah, if you ever pull Rodgers and then not the starter, the other guys, it is a terrible look.
I thought that was weird, right? Like Breece Hall's still out there running. You still got Garrett Wilson's out there. Alan Lazard's still out. I mean, Alan Lazard, who cares, right? But
I mean, I care now because he's definitely he was on my pickup list of waiver wire candidates because it shows that Rodgers is right back to trusting him. They have previous chemistry. He came out there because of Rodgers. I think going forward, I mean, he could be wide receiver 1 on the team. He is right now, according. I mean, points
Garrett
wise.
Garrett Wilson will be the number 1 on there. It's just they're not that good.
They're not that good.
Their offensive line's not that great. Tyron Smith didn't look that good, I don't know. They were just outclassed. That's all there was to it. Rodgers didn't look good.
Let's take a look at that's what we'll do. We'll look at the high scoring from each position now. We'll cap it at like say 30 points for QBs, right? So you had 6 guys hit 30 points or more on Yahoo leagues with us. Daniels gave you a cool 30.00. Derek Carr aired it. I mean, it was against Carolina. What are you going to do? I mean, that dude, he hadn't looked like that in like 10 years, man. He was just freaking throwing it. But then again, there was no threat of anything, no negative effect at all. He gave you 31.30.
3 touchdowns. It was 200 yards and 3 touchdowns.
You know what's crazy is Jaden Daniels gave you 30 points, but he rushed in 2 touchdowns. He didn't throw 1. Rushed 2 of them in. He got you 88 yards rushing, gave you 184 in the air. Carr gave you 200 on the money in the air, 3 touchdowns, rushed it twice for 13 yards. Lamar Jackson, 31.85. What did he do? He did a touchdown. I think he threw one and he ran one. No, he didn't rush one. He just threw one.
He didn't rush one? Okay.
273 yards in the air, though. Not bad. Josh Allen, 37.5, 232 yards, 2 touchdowns. He ran 2 of them in. He's killing Cook. Every time they get close, they're just giving it to him, man. AR, 38.20. He threw 2 touchdowns, had a pick, ran 1 in as well. And then Baker Mayfield was your player, your top dog here, had 40.55 points, 289 yards in the air, 4 touchdowns, 3 rushing attempts for 21 yards on top of that. He was just, dude, I think it's awesome Baker is slinging it like he is. And then the Browns just suck, like so bad. Like, that team is terrible.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. Like, hey, it would be the Browns thing to happen is they get rid of Baker for Watson, and Baker's now a better quarterback than Watson is. So, which I'll go ahead and argue at the time, Baker was a better quarterback than Watson was. You got blinded by what he used to be. And, which Watson he's just a mess now. Like, there's apparently a burner account that everyone's tying to him that he opened up on Monday, where he's going around and commenting, Watson's not that bad and he's a great teammate and all this stuff. But yeah, sorry, buddy. It has to be you because nobody else is saying anything good about you.
Yeah. And, we were talking about, and I made a comment about how someone probably leaked that new sexual assault thing or something, or came up with it or whatever, just to get him out of there. And then someone, I think it was like an ESPN talking head or whatever, co-host that mentioned the same thing, goes, I bet it's the Browns behind this shit. I'm like, oh my God.
But here's the thing. It doesn't matter because it's a fully guaranteed contract.
Yep.
So we can go out there and get the Soap Honk special all he wants. It's not going to affect how much they have to pay him. And what they just need to do, they need to do like what the 49ers did with Trey Lance. Just bite the bullet and say, you know what? Sorry. You're not the guy. Just cut him, whatever. Eat the money, and just move on from him.
Yeah,
that's it. You just got to move on.
Some people can't.
Your next option is Jameis, and that's ain't going to be much better.
Nah, they're in trouble.
Honestly.
Like they're in a horrible position. I don't know. Who do you think? Which one was? I put this post out there. Who fleeced who the worst? Like, is Watson fleecing the Browns worse than Daniel Jones is fleecing the New York Giants? Like, they're both the worst.
Did that to himself. Like, I guess the Browns did it to themselves too, but I, it, Daniel Jones he never really showed that he. I mean, he had that one season, right?
Just
But
okay.
yeah, Ventro. Should I start Pickens, Keenan Allen, or DK Metcalf? Start two for this week, full PPR. And do you think Keenan Allen will be better for the rest of the season? I'm starting Pickens and DK is who I'm taking from those two. Um,
Tell them why.
Injury wise, you don't know where Keenan's at. Yeah, he ended up playing, but he didn't do much. Might take a little while to heal. He's a little bit older, and I'm just not sure about Caleb. Yeah. He averaged 3 yards a pass. Now it is week one. Don't panic. It's week one, right? But you've got a crowded wide receiver room there. You've got a guy who's banged up. Roma Dunze's banged up as well. I'm just unsure about Keenan Allen. George Pickens, you kind of know what you get. And DK Metcalf he's a man amongst boys, right?
I'm sitting here looking at Yahoo right now, and it doesn't look like Pickens caught a ball. He had one rush for negative 10 yards. Or is that? Oh, there's receiving. Okay, I'm thinking about passing. Okay, yeah. I was like, what the? That can't be right. He caught 6 balls for 85 yards. That's respectable, I think. And I'm with you on DK as well. He'll have a better week. He is a massive dude.
I'm not panicking over week one performances. Yeah. I'm not. Yeah. But I wasn't sold on Keenan going into the season.
Yeah.
I'm not sold on Caleb Williams. And then again, like I mentioned, it's just a crowded receiver room.
Yeah. Dunze's
DJ
hurt.
Moore, Roman Dunze, Keenan Allen, and you go and throw Cole Kmet in there as well too, right? There's just a lot of people to get that ball to. And well, Caleb's only doing it 3 yards at a time right now.
I'll agree with you. Pickens and DK for sure. And we're not hating on Keenan Allen. We love Keenan Allen. We used to fight over each other to draft him every single year when he was on the Bolts. Just what can you do, man? If he can't do anything if he's not getting the ball, and he's being overthrown. Now there was a couple. He had chances that they were going down the left side of the field. And he was in full stride, and he aired it out, missed him by like 10 yards. That was a touchdown. He laid it in right in his hands. That's a touchdown. But I don't know how long it's going to take for Caleb to get on that level and where he can actually throw a touchdown pass. But he looked terrible. But yeah, for this week, give me Pickens and Metcalf until Allen. I'm not saying he proves himself until Caleb can get in the ball. And you're right, crowded receiver room, and then Cole Kmet's there. So yeah, I'm with you on that. There you go.
Yep.
All right, so speaking of receivers, we are now. Your top performers this week, we'll cut it off and say 25. How about that? Alec Pierce, 25.50. He only caught 3 balls, but it was 125 yards and a touchdown. He was one of my guys that you wanted to target for sure because he's just big play. Now he's going to catch 3 balls, maybe 4, but huge plays.
Big plays, maybe. Now, he is still available in Yahoo leagues in 79% of your Yahoo leagues right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a free agent in ours.
This moment right now, I just refreshed it and just looked at it. He's still out there in a lot, but I think part of that has to do with the targets, right? Not getting a ton of targets. Is he going to be a boomer or bust type player? Possibly. Big TD dependent. You've got him, and I'm going to go ahead and while we're talking about them, Ashton Dulin as well, right? He scored you 11.9 points, and this is a half point PPR league with Yahoo. That's kind of their standard now. But 1 catch for 54 yards, and it was a touchdown. You're TD dependent, boomer bust.
If you're in a deep league, these are 2 dudes that you should absolutely be scooping up. Or if you're in a deep league, they're probably already gone. But let's see, number 5 here.
Said, don't want to chase Pierce. I think Mitchell will take his job eventually. Maybe. Again, it's week 1. If you got a guy that you believe is going to be the guy, stick with what you think for right now. Because again, it's just 1 week.
Yeah, this guy's rostered in a little bit more leagues. Obviously, 81%. Jamo Williams, Detroit. He got 5 receptions for 121 yards and a touchdown. Ran the ball once for 13 yards. Finished with 26.40 points. So obviously a more rostered fella. Amazing plays. It was like I said, 121 yards, dude. That was impressive. I mean, not as impressive doing it in 3 catches, but he did it in 5 and he got you those points. 26.4.
Well, that's a guy that you're going to feel a little bit more comfortable with because that the targets are more there, right? Plus, this is a guy that just talk to anybody in Detroit. And I'm talking about not just like the people that live in Detroit, but for the team, the coaches and the players, they all said he has come in a man on a mission this year and has looked great in training camp. Again, it's training camp, but he's looked better than he has been. He's coming into the season without any issues. The first year he was recovering from the ACL injury from the year before, didn't get until late in the season. Last year he had the suspension because of betting on games, not NFL games, but like college games in a hotel the team was staying in. So he came in a little bit late. Plus he had a little injury issue at the beginning of the year last year as well. So this year he's the number 2 guy there, and they're really looking at getting him the ball. They're designing more plays towards him. Jared Goff has said he trusts him a lot. He's got his trust 100%. It's a better situation this year.
Cool. And then you got Allen Lazard, 26.90 points. He's only rostered in 38% of leagues right now. He went 6 for 89 and 2 touchdowns. Then you got Tyreek Hill, 28 points. He went 7 for 130 and 1. He also ran Yeah, that's what he did. I was like, he didn't rush. He didn't go any rushing. But
a couple points for the reckless endangerment ticket as well, I think.
Jesus Christ. And then he's coming out saying, like, oh, yeah, this cops need to be fired. I'm like, so listen, I got it. From what I saw, it's crazy. He doesn't help. The cops don't help. Nobody helps nobody in this situation. Like that one rogue-ass cop that's like, yanking, I'm going to bash the window. I'm like, chill out, bud. Like this car costs more than your house. You know what I mean?
Right, also like, hey, if the police pull you over and they give you an order like, hey, keep your window down. I don't know. Maybe keep your window down?
It's a security thing, man. Yeah, you don't want to get – because people get shot all the time.
You're escalating the situation by not following a simple – it's not like he said, hey, give me your money or, it was something simple of just, hey, do me a favor. Keep your window down, buddy.
And I think the internet's split on him because half of them are like, yeah, fire the cop. And the other half like, isn't this the guy that beats all like his wife or his girlfriend and kid? And he's got like 10 kids. And maybe he should go to jail.
I almost put the call in for this is going to be a year that Tyreek's just not going to act right because he acted right all last year outside of just knocking up like 5 girls or something like that all at the same time, which – okay, but that's fine, right?
No, it's not.
That happens. Okay. But as far as everything else is concerned, no legal trouble or anything like that. Was on his best behavior last year. I was like, it's not good. He can't. This guy's shown that he can't keep it together for too long.
Yeah.
God. So, and I mean, week 1.
Bonkers. And then you got Cooper Kupp, 14 receptions, 110 yards, 1 touchdown. I mean, 32 points, man. 14 receptions. That's bonkers. Yeah. I think, was that the highest? That had to be the highest of the, next person close to him, Chris Godwin. And he had 8.
Yeah. And I mean, you had Chris Godwin had himself a great game this week. He was a guy that you weren't really sure of going into the season. Now, again, it's 1 week, but that's definitely a guy that, hey, if you got him, you need to go and get him. As well as Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett was someone that, a lot of people were down on this year. He had a real bad year last year, kind of dealing with some injuries going into the game. 6 catches, 77 yards on 7 targets. You really felt like Jackson Smith, this was going to be his year to kind of take over. And he just kind of said, hey, guys, I'm not done yet.
He was just missing a touchdown, and it would have been a great game for him. That's all he needed. He needed to get in the end zone.
Wan'Dale Robinson, 6 targets, 44 yards. Looking like he might be the number 1 guy out there in New York for whatever that's worth. But the targets are there. And if you're looking for a guy that's going to have opportunity, there's a guy that's got some opportunity that you can go ahead and get. I mean, and like for Wan'Dale, I mean, he's still available in 87% of your leagues.
Yeah. He was a guy that definitely was on the list to target for your waiver wire, and you don't even need to waste a claim anymore. You can go in there and just pick him up, stash him. Trust me, there's worse on your bench unless you got a short bench. I understand some of those leagues where there's only like 4 or 5 spots. Yeah, might not have room for him, but he's worth a look. And your top dog, 35.10 points, Jalen Reed, 4 receptions, 138 yards, and a touchdown. He also ran one in. He had a one rushing attempt for 33 yards, and he got that. So he had 2 touchdowns. Very nice. Cooper Kupp ran twice for 10 yards as well. So I didn't mention that. So Yeah. There you go. There's your receivers, man. And I tell you what, watching Cooper Kupp just shred, I'm in again. I'm back, baby. I'm back. And then especially with Nakua being out. Is it DeMarcus Robinson that's out there?
You got DeMarcus Robinson, as well as I was just looking at the guy's name. His name is Tyler Johnson as well. Tyler Johnson had 5 catches for 79 yards on 7 targets.
Yeah. I mean, you see 14 targets going to Cooper, but trust me, Stafford's got more. He can support a team. So these guys you want to go and look at. If I had to pick one of them up, I'm kind of leaning towards Robinson, but Tyler as well. If I can get one and I need help at the receiver position, that's where I'm heading.
If you need some help at the tight end position, again with the Rams, Colby Parkinson, 4 catches for 47 yards on 5 targets. He's a guy that can see some more targets based on Puka being out.
I don't know how deep you want to go in running backs because there was really just a couple that I thought were spectacular. There's only 3 above 25, but you had like Kamara. He got in the end zone. That was like, man, he just kind of ran up to a wall and kind of bounced back. It was weird, but he got you 22 points. Mason, of course, stepped right in, gave you 22.2 points. He rushed for 147 yards on 28 attempts. 28 freaking attempts. Got you a touchdown, and then he also caught the only ball, the only target for 5 yards. Then you had A-Chain, 23 points. He gave you 10. He got 10 attempts, 24 yards, one tutty. Then he caught 7 balls for 76 yards. Not bad. That's the kind of what I'm looking for. I want a running back that's going to be catching out of the backfield. Part of that off it, you know. I mean, just because we're points per reception. You know, I mean, we've always been PPR, or at least I have. So, Mixon, 26.80 points, 30 rushing attempts. Another bell cow, right? 159 yards, a touchdown. And then he caught 3 balls for 19. And then we have 2 more of the top 2. You have something to add real quick? I see you over there wiggling.
No, go for it.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
And then
I got some names to talk about afterwards. Some guys that, hey, keep an eye on these guys.
Absolutely. J.K. Dobbins. I told you. We were talking about him. I was like, he's fresh as a daisy. He hadn't played ball in forever.
We say that every year. And then he slips on a banana peel or a bar of soap or something.
Well, that's usually in the preseason, so it doesn't hurt you that much in the regular season, right? But he gave you 26.90 points, 10 attempts at rushing, 135 yards, a touchdown, also caught 3 balls for 4 yards. The only thing I noticed, he got caught from behind. He was tearing ass down the field, and they caught him. So his top speed, and his finishing speed is kind of gone, with the injuries and whatnot. But still, really good production on 10 attempts. Then you got Barkley, 24 attempts, 109 yards, 2 touchdowns, and then had 2 receptions for 23 yards and another touchdown, man. Crazy.
There we go.
So Barkley, baby.
Taco Cheese is in here saying, would you trade ETN and London for JT and McConkey? Where are you at with that?
I mean, I like Jonathan Taylor. Thomas. I don't know about ETN. Like Tank Bigsby's getting closer. I think he might have actually he outperformed ETN this week, but it's week 1, right? Drake London, we're still really high on.
He had 12 attempts for 73 yards.
Yeah. I'm still high on London. It's the first week. I don't want to make any moves, but I do like JT.
So let me ask you this, though. Is this a redraft or is this a dynasty?
It's got to be a redraft, right? Also, Nico or Waddle for week 1. Nico Collins.
Full PPR.
Yeah.
So I know who's Houston playing this week?
Chicago?
Mm-hmm. It's a redraft league. Okay.
Sunday night.
And let's see here.
Nico Collins got 6 receptions for 117 yards. And Stroud got it around. I mean, Diggs had 6 receptions. I think Tank had a ton as well. Waddle had 5 receptions for 109 yards. Woo.
I mean, it's close, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the one thing I think you kind of have going for you with Waddle this week is you don't know what the running situation is going to be like. Mostert's already out. You're unsure about A-Chain right now. So it could be Jeff Wilson there in the backfield. So they might have to rely on the pass a little bit more, especially going up against Buffalo. They're going to have to put up points.
Yeah.
Josh Allen is dealing with a little bit of an injury. He should be fine for the game, but I'm probably going to lean towards Waddle. I think you got a better defensive matchup with Buffalo versus Houston playing Chicago. Chicago's just got a really good defense,
Yeah.
right?
I will say this:
So I think
McConkey's paying. They're playing Carolina this week, and McConkey had 5 for 39 and a touchdown. So
yeah.
I'm leaning more towards JT and McConkey, to be honest with you, at this point. But I think London, he's got upside. I say it every year. He's finally got a competent quarterback throwing to him. But I think ETN's going to Bigsby's just chipping away at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I probably would trade those two away for JT and McConkey. Look for I think London and McConkey are both going to have good seasons this year. I'm definitely on the record saying that I think Drake London's going to have a really great year. But week one, didn't really pan out. But again, it's week one, right? Yeah. I think it's because I think you're making up more ground with JT for ETN side of the trade. I think you're getting the better part of the running backs. So I think that's kind of why I'm leaning towards, go ahead and pull the trigger on that, because I think JT is going to have a good year. Yeah. And ETN, I don't know.
Yeah. And back to Nico or Waddle, which defense do you think is going to play better? Right, they're both pretty much even.
Defense is going to play better.
They should, right? I mean, but they were going up against Tennessee. Titans suck. But
that Chicago defense was good last year.
I feel like Buffalo is going to be a shootout. I think Buffalo's going to be a shootout, and that's why I think Waddle's going to hit another 100 yards this week.
Yeah,
I think so.
I'm going Waddle right now.
Yeah, me too.
I just think there's more. I think your ceiling's higher with Waddle than it is with Nico. Again, I just think it's a tough matchup with Chicago.
Appreciate the question.
Especially Chicago secondary is pretty good.
Yeah, thanks for the comment. Thanks for the question.
Yeah.
And then let's get over to. We'll just do tight ends real quick. It was a bust weekend for tight ends. There's really only one that performed amazingly, and that was Likely at 28.10 points. He got you 9 receptions for 111 yards and a touchdown. Then you got Moreau.
Almost had 2.
Yeah, this close. Moreau, he went 14.30 points, had 4 catches, 43 yards, and a touchdown. He did leave the game in concussion protocol. He's in concussion protocols. He whacked his head. So, I mean, everybody else kind of 11 points. Bowers 11 points, Pitts 11 points. It's just a week. It was a week for.
But here's the thing with Pitts. It was good to see him get in the end zone, right? Oh. He just hasn't gotten the attention offensively, so it's good to see him start the year off pretty good. If you own Kelsey, Laporta, even Andrews, don't panic, don't freak out. If you go back and you pay attention to the tape with Baltimore and Kansas City, you'll see Kansas City was really double teaming Mark Andrews a lot.
Yeah.
And so they just took what Kansas City gave them. Kansas City went into that game saying, we're going to shut down Mark Andrews. And they did, but that just opened up Likely. So I think teams are really going to have to weigh their options and maybe not necessarily have to be able to double team Mark Andrews all the time, because if you do that, they're just going to go over to Likely. Yeah. And that's what the Ravens showed this week is, fine, you want to take Andrews out? We got this other guy over here who's pretty darn good too. So I
can play football.
I'm not panicking with Mark Andrews. I have him in a decent amount of my leagues. I'm a huge fan of Mark Andrews. He's staying in my lineup this week. I'm not taking him out. At the same time, I do have a couple leagues where I have Likely, where I kind of drafted him as kind of like hey, at some point in time, I kind of expect Andrews to go out for a game or two, and I've got Likely there. Well, I might probably now in a couple of those leagues, I'm elevating Likely to the starting role, and I think both of those tight ends can have good games. I think you might be looking at something kind of similar to what New England did back in the day with Hernandez and Gronk.
Yeah.
Not to that level, but as far as receivers are concerned out there, those are probably 2 of the best receivers on the team.
Yeah. And quick shout out. Thank you so much, Taco Cheese on YouTube, for subscribing. Appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah. All right. So floor is yours, sir. Who do you got? Some guys you're looking out for? We didn't talk about it because you were talking about some RBs, and then I just kind of went down the list and I flipped to tight ends.
RB wise, there's some guys that are still out there that you can go ahead and pick up. Jamal Williams is available in 94% of your leagues. He actually got to carry the ball in game 1. Got a touchdown already in week 1. He had 11 carries for 38 yards. He's kind of a guy that you might want to, if you got room on your bench, to go ahead and get him in there. Mike, it was going to get you a decent amount of action. Zach Charbonnet, Kenneth Walker's already hurt. So keep your eyes on him. He's available in 49% of your leagues. Go ahead and pick him up, especially if you got Kenneth Walker. You're going to need that security blanket. A Bucky Irving looked pretty good. 9 carries for 62 yards. I'm not panicking if I'm a Rachaad White owner, which I am. I'm not panicking on that, but he's a good guy to have. If you have Rachaad White, a handcuff just in case, And Bucky's still available in 71% of Yahoo leagues. Tank Bigsby, a guy we already talked about a little bit, he's still available in 75% of your leagues. If you've got a league where you get points for, or you got like some extra flex spots, or maybe you got a spot for a guy who's a kick returner, DJ Dallas, the first player to return a kick under the new rules.
Loved it.
Hey, he's out there. Go and get him. And the other thing I got to say is, if you're one of those who drafted David Montgomery late, you're probably someone who listened to me, because I told you guys Montgomery's still going to do his thing, and you can play Montgomery every week. You could play Jamar Gibbs every week. Heck, if you drafted both of them, I'd play them both, because you're gonna get the production out of both of them. You saw Gibbs is going to be catching the ball a little bit more this year, and just that big play potential that you get with him. And they weren't. I think they're kind of going like a series by series type thing, because you saw Gibbs get the ball. What the heck is going on there? You saw him getting the ball on goal line carries. So Gibbs isn't coming out every time they get the ball to the goal line and they're plugging in David Montgomery. They've shown, hey, we're going to go ahead and put Gibbs and with our offensive line. And you saw the way that offensive line worked in overtime. They just manhandled the Rams defensive line and they just marched down the field. So those are some running backs I'm keeping an eye on, picking up, because you know how many running backs are going to get hurt this year? All of them. Pablo Garcia, would you start Tua or Richardson? So Tua's got,
let me tell you,
Buffalo Thursday, and who the Colts got this week?
Colts are playing. I just had it right here until you asked me. Colts are at Green Bay.
At Green Bay, okay.
Noon.
Green Bay, a team that you don't know what you're going to get quarterback-wise, offensively. So the Colts offense could spend a lot of time on there, but also if you go up too much, you could see Richardson come out late in the game. But also you don't know what's going on with that Miami run game, and is Tua really going to have to throw the ball around? I think you've got more potential with Tua for the points versus Richardson.
I mean, they gave up 34. The Packers gave up 34 points to the Eagles. Pretty much Saquon on the ground, just running right through them, shredding them. But I think I'm looking more towards Tua. I think he's going to sling it. I really do. But I think you're in a great position. Let me start off by saying that you're in a great position.
You probably drafted Richardson before you drafted Tua, because that's the way all the drafts went this year, which is crazy to me.
Yeah.
But like you said, like you were just talking about, Saquon was just really eating up that Packers defense. I could see the same thing happening with Taylor, right? Just eating up that Packers defense and them just running the ball a lot, getting up a lot, because, I mean, what's Malik Willis really going to do? He's been with the team all of 3 weeks, I think.
He had to come in for the last play of the game. Like, get in there and win this one. And a Hail Mary, I think he threw it like 30 yards or something. But real quick, they're projecting. I'll give you the projection for this week.
Okay.
So Yahoo right now for Tua, projected 24.81 points, AR 15, 23.28. So they're really close. I bet they're ranked really close. I mean, they're both at home. Or, excuse me, no. Colts are on the road in Green Bay. Tua's at home. They play great in Miami. I am starting to lean kind of towards I'm going to play Tua.
So have you seen – I saw this last week, and I don't know how long it's been out there, but I saw it being talked about this week about why the Dolphins have such a big home field advantage. Have you seen this at all?
No, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be kind of – I'm sure it's a snarky comment. Let's see what you got.
No, it's not at all. No, seriously. It's – so they had to – they did some improvements on the stadium there.
Mm-hmm.
And when they did the improvements, the way that they built it up, the Dolphin sideline is in the shade the entire time. And the away team is in the sun the entire time.
Oh, God. What's up, old school? How you doing, pal?
And they've shown that the temperature difference between the two sidelines can be about 20 degrees at times.
Oh yeah, I mean you're in the sun in Miami. Jesus, no
And
thanks.
Miami is one of the home teams that wears their white jerseys at home.
Mm.
So the other teams are wearing the darker colors, attracting the sun. They're in the sun the entire time, and the Dolphins are in the shade.
That's some tricky stuff. That's like the Detroit Lions stuff, like, you know, where everything's blue and they're wearing all blue. They like Stafford couldn't even see these guys. They got like camouflage hanging out in the end zone.
Okay, let's be honest here. Stafford's throwing those interceptions no matter what. So, but to answer your question, I'm going to go ahead and say standard. You play Tua.
Tua as well. Tua as well.
Yeah.
All right, what's up, old school? Say hi to old school.
What's up, old school? How we doing, brother?
There you go.
A Mizike, Dak or Josh Allen? Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. I think Dak's not playing. Well, I think it's going to be a fun little shootout. But actually, I take it back. The defense, Dallas' defense is actually kind of good, so they might have Derek Carr in check this week. But yeah, he's not playing Carolina. He's not throwing 4 touchdowns. Okay, Dak's they're gonna.
And he's not Josh Allen.
And he's not Josh Allen. So Dak's gonna have they're gonna have a more balanced attack anyways. So I think there's not going to be a real reason for him to throw the ball a bunch. I don't think they're going to be down because New Orleans isn't that good, right? They haven't been good in a long time. So I think Dak is right now scheduled to give you 26.94 points. And Josh Allen, what is he, 28.20? Yeah, give me Josh Allen for sure.
I'm thinking Josh Allen because not only is he slinging the ball over the place, but if you get down there on the 1 or 2 yard line, within the 5 yard line, he's running the ball in.
Yeah,
you're just the big play potential is there more so with Josh Allen. Your ceiling's higher with Josh Allen. In terms of fantasy, Josh Allen is a better fantasy quarterback than Dak.
Yeah, I mean, there were some weeks last year when Dak just blew up, right? And especially in our league with our Superflex league, like he was just balling out of control. But yeah, he got you 26.94 points this week. Josh Allen gets you 28. So I mean, they're close, but yeah, give me the upside, the rushing upside of Josh Allen. And especially, like I said, I think it's going to be a shootout. I think you're going to see a high-scoring game. I mean, they could hit the 70s. Do I think that's going to happen in New Orleans? No. So, but there you go. There you go, Mike.
Joe's here. 12 standard. Who to start in my flex? Aaron Jones or DK?
Aaron Jones.
His wide receivers are Kupp and Debo. Running backs are Bijan and Etienne.
He's got a nice team. Nice little. Got that on a 12 team standard, huh?
Yeah. Who we got? Minnesota playing this week?
I don't know. Wait, they're playing I had it on here and now I don't see it. Now I got to scroll like a jerk. Jesus, let me just type this on my computer. I looked it up and I go, oh, they're playing them this week because I think I was looking at like defense rankings and whatnot. They're playing the Niners.
They're playing the 49ers. So, okay. I'm definitely going to take that under consideration. And Seattle is playing.
That defense is crazy. Like it really is nuts. So now I'm like changing my mind. Seattle's playing the Patriots.
Patriots.
Mm-hmm. 2 tough defenses.
Standard league, not PPR. But that 49ers team is just, that defense is really good. I think I'm going to go DK on this one.
Yeah. You think Gino's going to get him the ball this week?
Yeah.
I think if I'm in a standard league, I gotta go traditional, like a running back in the flex. I do think DK is going to get some action this week. He's got to get in the end zone, right? They're going to feed him the ball in the end zone. I think
so.
And
I like the matchup better.
Yeah. I do. Like I said, I like your receivers though. Kupp and Debo, solid. Bijan and Etienne, I'm a little bit falling out of love with. You know, I'd almost have Aaron Jones as my starting because I think I'm going to play Aaron Jones over Etienne. And then
the Jags are playing the Browns this week.
Yeah, I'd almost play Etienne.
Play better this week. I think the Browns are come out, especially defensively fired up.
Mm-hmm. Who knows? I have to see some weather reports on Sunday. That's something, you know, when we do go live. You went live on Saturday night. I went live on Sunday morning, and I definitely took a look at, you know, what was going on in the players and whatnot. I went through and I set my lineups as well, kind of went through my whole thought process and answered some questions and whatnot. Got Tank as well on my bench just in case.
It's a nice receiver room for sure. Yeah, I think I'm going to go DK. I just think you're going to get more yards and I think touchdowns.
There you go.
The 49ers just looked good.
Nice. Guys and gals, I appreciate everybody who popped in today. I appreciate all the questions, and thank you for subscribing. Again, Taco Cheese. There's more live content, more shorts, more everything, but it's all here on YouTube. We're not going live on Facebook anymore. We're not going live on Twitter or X. It's all here. So, Alan, any closing thoughts before you run us out of here?
Relax. Don't panic. Exactly. It's 1 week. It's 1 week. If I could convince you of anything, it's don't panic. Don't be that guy. We had a guy a few years back, after week one, drop Pat Mahomes because he had a bad week one. We've seen it. We've had a guy back in his heyday drop Darren Waller. It was like, yeah, I had a bad week one. I'm out. I'm not playing. No, I got to get rid of this guy. So there's always, and hey, I'm more excited about the guys that are on the waiver wire right now versus the guys that were on the waiver wire yesterday, because you've got some dude in your league who panicked, and he's like, man, I don't know. This Pat Mahomes guy, he's not that great. Travis Kelce was trash. I got to cut him. Sam Laporta, hey, Amon-Ra St. Brown did nothing. I got to get rid of him. I got to drop him, and I got to go and pick up Rashid Shaheed.
That was a pretty touchdown, though.
Yeah, it was.
That was a gorgeous touchdown.
But they're out there. There's guys out there that are panicking right now and dropping just gold players. I say my waiver priority for that second wave. I didn't put any waiver priorities. Last night picked up the guys that I wanted to this morning without the waiver priority. I'm saving it for the people that are dropping guys that they shouldn't be dropping. Just relax. Don't panic. We're 1 week in. Chill. Just chill out. Jamar Chase and CeeDee Lamb aren't going to suck all year. They're going to have 100+ yard games this year.
They better.
Joe Burrow's not going to give you 8 points every week. It's just not going to happen. It's going to happen week one. I'll tell you that. You ain't going to fool me again. You fooled me this year, and I picked the Bengals to win. You're not fooling me again. I don't care if the Bengals are playing Southlake High School next year in week one. I'm picking Southlake High School to win. That's it. You got any closing thoughts there, buddy?
That's it. That's why I threw it to you and said, before you run us out of there.
Well, was being courteous and, throwing you the ball. But they will sit Aaron Rodgers the last drive. Dude.
Jets suck. The Jets can't out Jets themselves.
They're pretty bad.
Yep.
And Aaron Rodgers just looks a lot older this year. Like, he looks like an old man out there. So I'm surprised he wasn't yelling at all the players to get off his lawn. You know what? We're still a champion.
They beat the crap out of them. Yeah, and the year they got caught cheating. You were the champion of our league that year you got caught cheating.
Wasn't cheating.
Run us out of here. Let's go.
Hey, you know what, guys? Thank you so much. We appreciate you. New subscribers, thank you guys so much. And, hey, you guys showed us that somebody does care. So thank you. From my home to yours, you guys are great. As always, I'm Alan.
I'm RD.
Talk to you later. Deuces.